G'day guys, how you going? Welcome to another edition of What's Your Verdict? And we've got an intriguing one for you this week. It is, of course, the second Sugar Ray Leonard Thomas Hearns fight that took place on June 12th, 1989. It was billed as the war. You can see right there. There it is. That's the official poster for the event. But as I said, June 12th, 1989, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, promoted by Bob Arum's Top Rank. And it was for the WBO Super Middleweight Titles. Just as I'm going through it a little bit more, we'll get into introductions there. Leonard was 35-1. Hearns was 46-3. The weights for both fighters, you can see there, Hearns was 162.5. Leonard was 160, so at super middleweight. So the limit here would have been 168, even though I'm assuming there would have been maybe a catch weight in this fight, which is why both fighters came in so light. So a little bit, look, I'll admit when I first saw this fight, albeit through a 15, nearly 16-year-old kid's eyes back in 1989, I thought that straight off the bat that I thought Thomas Hearns won this fight so clearly. It didn't matter, but it was intriguing to watch this fight back. I reckon I've only watched it once, maybe twice, in the 34 years since this fight took place. So it was really good to sit down and actually watch this fight again. I watched it with no volume on, as I always do, and I implore you to do the same if you are watching these fights, because the crowd and the commentators can have so much input into how you sort of see it. And it's really good not to have to doubt yourself if you see around a certain way and maybe a commentator sees it a different way. So that's what I do, turn the volume off and watch it that way. But you can see there, both fighters all set to go. I still remember those red and white trunks that Sugar Ray Leonard wore, and I think they were something to do with an African, some sort of African statement, I think it was, or in tribute to someone, an artist or something. I can't really remember. But either way, as I said, as a 15, almost 16-year-old kid, I thought this was just a lay down for Sugar Ray Leonard, but it was really interesting to watch this fight back. And I know this is going to upset a few people out there, but the way I saw the fight, if you haven't seen one of these episodes before, what I do, we're going to go through each round, do a sort of minute to minute and a half sort of highlight package of each one. I'll give my score after each round, and then, of course, put it out there, my final scorecard. So just on the last episode that we did, it was Julio Cesar Chavez and Pernell Whitaker. I scored the fight, I think, 9 rounds to 3, so 117-111. I put it out to our followers on Instagram, and happy to say that I think it was 67%, so 2/3 of people agree with my verdict that Pernell Whitaker was the winner in that fight. And I think from memory on the box rec, which is I'll put the score of this fight up as well, the box rec consensus was that same thing, that Pernell Whitaker won 9 rounds to 3. So that was the last one. So into this week's episode. Now, just a little bit the vision here. It's not the best quality video that I could find on YouTube. The problem is when you get the really good ones, it's usually owned by someone that's high up and they've got copyright and all that sort of stuff on it. So to get it on here without getting it blocked, and my last one with Chavez and Whitaker was blocked in a lot of countries, so we missed out on a little bit there. But and this one, as I said, even though the quality is not what I would like it to be, it's still all good, and we can see it clearly. So let's get on to round one. As I said, I'm gonna probably upset a few people with the way I see the early rounds, because just before we get into it, the early rounds this one, the consensus was that Hearns bolted out of the blocks and probably won the first 4 or 5 rounds. I tended to disagree with that, which is what we're going to go through right now. So let's get into round one. It is Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns 2 from Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Now, I've got here very much a feeling out rounds, as you would expect. These guys, of course, fought 8 years earlier in Las Vegas, where Hearns was way in front and Leonard come over the top and stopped him in the 14th round. This, of course, was a 12-round fight. I've got here Hearns taking center ring, Leonard on the move, looking to probably have a look at a bigger version of Thomas Hearns. Again, this was about 15 pounds higher or heavier than what they fought at in their first welterweight fight. Hearns throwing numerous hard jabs throughout the round, but I didn't think none actually landed cleanly. You can see there, he's letting a few go, not really hitting the mark, but Leonard showing good lateral movement, some really good sharp punches. See, good jab landed there. Not a lot of punches landed, but I've just got here Leonard looking a little bit sharper, a little bit more meaningful. And while Thomas Hearns is you can see there he's snapping the jab out there. You can just see that Leonard's sort of going with him. The consensus was that Hearns taking centre ring, backing up with the jab. Leonard not really being busy. I see it the other way in this first round. Most people, I think, gave it to Thomas Hearns, but I've got to say, I just thought Leonard threw the slicker punches. I've actually given him the first round. Now, this went against a lot of the experts will say there. I'm not saying I'm, a full-on expert by any means. What I'm saying is that I just, for someone that knows a little bit about boxing myself, I just don't see it as a clear-cut situation. Just because you're in the center ring and you throw a few hard jabs doesn't mean you win the round. Even though Leonard wasn't overly busy, I just thought his lateral movement, he picked his punches. I think Hearns probably would have thrown more than Leonard, but I didn't see that jab landing clearly. I saw the punches that Leonard did throw actually did land, and I just thought his ring generalship, I think in a very close round, I would actually give it to Sugar Ray Leonard, so 10-9. So I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say out there. I'm assuming most years went for Hearns, but just have a clear look at it. Look at the punches that actually land, not the fact that one person standing in the ring and looks like he's dictating the action. So I've given the first round close round, but I've given it to Sugar Ray Leonard. Into round two. Now, this one, much the same in this round. You can see there, again, Hearns starting in the middle ring. Looks a little bit more up-tempo this time. And Leonard, again, on the move. You can see there, Hearns is really looking to stick that jab. And it's surprisingly, you can see there that Leonard actually tries to take center ring and throws some good combinations there. You can see he caught Hearns. Hearns continues to pump the jab, but Leonard is busier, I thought, with his volume of punches. As the round continues, Leonard becomes more aggressive, and I thought had the better of the exchanges. Another close round. You can see there again, Hearns with that same game plan as a take center ring, snap the jab in Leonard's face to offset him. You can see there he let the right hand go, but it fell well short. And I just think you can see there again, Leonard, I think he's matching Hearns with the volume of punches. He missed himself there himself, but I just think that as you can see there, that Leonard throwing some good combinations, and I think got the better of the exchanges. And see actually switching to southpaw there, which was not a wise move, as he almost cops a big right hand there. But look, I saw it a lot like the first round. Could have went either way. But again, I'm not getting sucked into the fact that Hearns is standing in center ring and snapping that jab out, because I just think Leonard is reading that jab. He's letting it slip to the side, left or to the right, or falling short. I thought Leonard picked up the pace a little bit in this round, and I just thought that his volume of punches was more than Hearns, but he also, I thought, got the better of the few exchanges that they did have. Now, again, this is going right against the grain of most experts out there, but I gave round two to Leonard as well. So after 2 rounds, I've got Leonard 20-18, so 2 rounds to 0 in favour of a Sugar Ray Leonard. Look, not a lot in it, and I'm not saying that Leonard's clearly winning the fight, but I'm just looking at it as punches thrown, punches landed, the ring generalship, and I just think they'll even on both fronts, except for I just think Leonard got slightly the better of the exchanges that they did have. Both landed some sort of snapping little punches. Hearns with some jabs, Leonard with some counter right hands, but I just think Leonard got the better of that round. So 20-18 for me after 2 rounds. Let's get into 3 rounds. Now, this was a very definitive round, I will say. Fast up by Hearns. He came out looking to pick up the pace, and you can see there looking to be a little bit busier with the jab. Leonard on the move again, being patient and waiting to counter. And you'll see in a second here, Hearns explodes. You can see there, just falling a little bit short with that right hand. You can see he's starting to back Leonard up there. I'm not liking the way Leonard's got that left hand down there, and he does pay the price there. You can see there, right hand from Thomas Hearns, even though it was glancing, you've got to count it as a knockdown. Leonard looking a little bit shaky. I'm not sure what he was thinking, just trying to lay on the ropes here, because that's the last thing you want to do against a killer like Thomas Hearns. Hearns jumps on him, pinning him on the ropes with some impressive punches. And again, I'm not quite sure why Leonard is standing on the ropes, but you can see there a pretty definitive round for Hearns. Leonard looking to survive and regroup as he plays it cautious for the remainder of the round. But you can see there, Hearns has got his tail up. He's backing Leonard up. Look, Leonard does get his faculties back, towards the end of the round. But I think as an experienced campaigner, that's the end of round 3. I think as an experienced campaigner, Leonard would have probably realised, I've lost the round. Why expend energy? Why risk wearing another punch? Because normally when you get knocked down, you can pretty much say it's a 10-8 round again, so why exert more energy than what you should? So I've given the round to Hearns 10-8, which makes his fight a dead even. So 2 rounds to 1 in favour of Leonard, but with 10-8 round on the point system, I've got it 28-28 after 3 rounds. So yeah, and these knockdowns will definitely prove definitive at the end of the fight. So round number 4. Let's get into it there. Hearns looking a little bit fatigued after a big round. He put a lot into that round 4. You can still see there he's trying to take centre ring, snap out the jab, but Leonard obviously realising he lost that 3rd round. Big starts to pick up the pace. You can see there he's coming forward a little bit more, snapping out the jab. Hearns throwing single jabs, while I thought Leonard is a lot busier as he tries to get back into the fight, because he's got to remember those first 2 rounds could have probably went either way. Again, I went Leonard narrowly, but that big 3rd round for Hearns would have just got Leonard thinking, I've got to start getting myself going here. A close round, I thought, is round 4. But I just thought Hearns was really starting to feel the pace, and Leonard really starting to pick it up there. And you could just see there, Hearns just a little bit off the pace now. Leonard's still got that speed from early in the fight, although Hearns does land a glancing right hand there. But you can see there, I just think Leonard's starting to back Hearns up now, and Leonard starting to probably get his range a little bit more than what Hearns is. Hearns fatigued again, as I said, after that 3rd round, and just starting to feel the pace there. So after the 4th round actually gave that round to Leonard. So after 4 rounds, 38-37 in favour of Leonard. Now, I'll just sort of put a little bit more, on top of this. I just think, again, you can see Hearns there with that game plan of taking centre of the ring, snapping the jab out at Leonard, but he's just falling short. He's just missing the punches, and Leonard looks quite sharp. And these, apart from the 3rd round, or any of the other 3 rounds, I've got no argument if people say I gave it to Hearns. I'm not saying that, but I just think if you look at it carefully with the volume down, I just think Leonard is the more effective in the 3 of the first 4 rounds. So I've got it 38-37, 3 rounds to 1 in favour of Sugar Ray Leonard. Now we go to round number 5, and even though round 3 was definitive for Thomas Hearns, I thought this round was almost as definitive for Sugar Ray Leonard, and you'll see why in a second here. Hearns starts fast, throws some really good crisp jabs that keeps Leonard on the back foot. You can see on the back foot. You can see there throwing a right hand there as well. And I thought I've got just here that Hearns was looking to be on his way to winning the round when he gets nailed with that left hook. And Leonard, even though he was such a great boxer, with all the skills, he was a killer when he had you hurt. He was a very, very good finisher. So he's rocked with that left hook. Nearly went down. Leonard is all over him. Leonard pounces on him, throws multiple combinations. Hearns on unsteady legs and holding on. And again, I don't know why Hearns is standing there on the ropes and not trying to clinch, more importantly. And one thing you'll see with Leonard, when he has you hurt, he will not allow himself to be clinched. He frees his hands up and he keeps punching. And Leonard, Hearns, I'm sure his corner was imploring him to move or hold or get off the ropes. You can see that this is a big round for Sugar Ray Leonard. And I thought Hearns did very, very well to actually stay on his feet in this round. Hearns looking shaky at the end of the round, especially. You can see there, and he was opening that left hook a lot in this fight. Hearns had this habit of pulling out of exchanges with that right hand down, and Leonard knew this and kept coming back with the left hook, and numerous times in this fight landed really good hooks on the break, and that to me is a very, very definitive round for Sugar Ray Leonard. Look, I didn't give it 10-8, although I wouldn't have argued with anyone if they did, because, look, I didn't give it a 10-8 because he didn't go down. And even though he had him hurt, he had him on the ropes, he was doing all the attacking, I'm just very hesitant to give a fighter a 10-8 round if there's no knockdown, or if he hasn't really looked like the fight could be stopped. And I just think Hearns did a very, very good job in hanging in there. And one criticism I've always had with Hearns throughout his career was that he didn't really know what to do when he was in trouble. He didn't really hold, and if he did, it was pretty much just drape the hands over an opponent without actually tying the arms up, which will allow the opponent to get free and keep punching. And Leonard did it to him. He did it obviously in the first fight in 1981. And in that round there, Leonard, I thought, should have almost got him out of there, because Hearns did not want to clinch, did not want to hold, did not want to fight back or get off the ropes. And probably was a little bit indicative of Leonard's age as well. I'm thinking if that was 2 or 3 years earlier, he would have got him out of there, no problem. So, but either way, I've given it a 10-9 round to Sugar Ray Leonard, and it puts him 48-46 in front. So after 5 rounds, I have it 4 rounds to 1 in favour of Sugar Ray Leonard, which I've got to say went right against the narrative of a lot of experts out there. Harold Letterman, I think at this stage, I think he had it 4 rounds to 1 for Hearns, and with the knockdown, had him 5 points in front at this stage of the fight. So, and I've got Leonard two points in front. So, I don't know. Harold Letterman's the expert, but I'm just not sure how you could have Hearns winning 4 out of the 5 rounds. But anyway, let's get into round number 6. And look, a little bit more of a quieter round after that big round 6 for Leonard, and probably a little bit like Hearns was in round 4 after putting Leonard down. A little bit fatigued and probably needed a round off, where Hearns, on the other hand, realising he'd lost that last round big, tried to pick it up there. And I thought had a pretty good round. But Leonard strangely doesn't jump on Hearns, which is the other really big surprise that I thought. Normally you would think that Leonard would be all over Hearns, knowing he had him hurt. He did it in the first fight. But surprisingly, whether he was punched out or fatigued or whatever it was, he just didn't sort of come out as aggressively as I would have thought he did. He would have. Hearns, regrouped, got back on the jab. I just thought Hearns failed to take advantage. This is the last 30 seconds here of this round. I thought Hearns just failed to take advantage of Leonard's early inactivity. And then what was a close round, Leonard really picked it up in the last minute. You can see here is putting on Hearns, pouring on the punches. And I just think in the last 30 seconds to a minute, I thought Leonard actually stole what was a very, very close round. And, surprising in a couple of ways, as I said, that Leonard didn't really start off fast like he should have, I would have thought. You could see that Hearns was on unsteady legs, and it was surprising that Leonard didn't get on him. Hearns, on the other hand, I thought he did really well for the first 2 minutes of the round, and then really just took his foot off the accelerator and allowed Leonard to really come home strong in that last minute. And I thought Leonard stole that round, which I think was with Harold Letterman's card, I think was in agreement with him. So here it is. After 6 rounds, I've got it 5 rounds to 1 for Sugar Ray Leonard. Now, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, because, as I said at the start, when I watched this fight the first time, even though I was only a teenager, when I've watched it in subsequent years, I probably thought that without sitting down and actually scoring the fight properly, I thought, look, Hearns, he's taking center ring, he's snapping the jab. Leonard's not really active, he's on the back foot. And I would have thought Hearns would have been a clear leader at this stage. But as I said, when you sit down and you watch it closely and score, tick all the boxes that you need to score a fight, I just think Sugar Ray Leonard has done enough in 5 out of the 6 rounds to be in front 58-55 at this stage of the fight. So let's get into the second half of the fight, and this is where things get interesting. Look, another really tough round to pick a winner of the round. Thought Hearns dominated the first half of the round with his jab and taking center of the ring. See there, lands a good right hand. You see pins Leonard on the ropes and just goes all out here. He's probably thinking, right, second half of the fight, I've got to get it on. You can see there, really puts it on Leonard. And again, Leonard sitting on the ropes, which I don't think was a wise move, or even trying to tie Hearns up. So really just trying to fight his way out of it. Whether that's fatigue or age, who knows. But I've got Leonard weathers the storm, works his way back into the round with some really crisp punches, and that you would expect nothing less from a champion like Sugar Ray Leonard. And then Hearns, after punching himself out early in that round, looks fatigued. Again, punches starting to fall short. Leonard picks up the pace, and you can see, like, throughout this fight, I noticed whenever Leonard really picked up the pace, Hearns really struggled to go with him. You can see there's some really good body shots, uppercuts in close, and I've just got very close. Hearns' early attack, I just thought, just sort of did enough. I thought out of the 3 minutes, I thought that Hearns had the better of it for about 2 minutes of the 3 minutes. And in a really close round, I've given Leonard a few of the close early rounds. So I've given this round to Thomas Hearns 10-9, even though I think it could have gone either way. I've just got both fighters as well really looking to be feeling the pace. And from now on, it's probably going to be a matter of heart. So 10-9 Hearns, which makes it 67-65 for Sugar Ray Leonard after 7 rounds. Into round number 8, and this is where it comes down to a heart and more than strategy, and both of these fighters have shown a lot of that in the past. So round number 8, Hearns looks to have found his second wind as he pushes Leonard back with some stiff jabs. Again, this is round number 8. Leonard again on the move, picking his punches very carefully. I thought work rate wasn't overly high in the first half of the round. I thought both have the moments, but Hearns continues to land the jab and have slightly better of the exchanges. Now you can see there, and I don't know why, again, whether it was age or whatever it was, but Leonard, in those key moments, just didn't pick up the pace. Hearns came out strong. You can see there he's even firing punches there, but Leonard on the back foot, trying his best. Still landing a good jab there, but he's allowing Hearns to come forward and dictate the pace, and maybe he's just waiting for that opportune time to throw the hook or land the counter right hand. I don't know, but I just think in this round he allowed himself to be pushed back and dictated to. And even though he did sort of pick it up in the last part of the round, there you can see he throws one after the bell. I just think Hearns, even though I don't think it was a definitive round, and you can see there Hearns was looking extremely tight at this stage, as was Leonard, by the way, but I have given a very, very close round 8 to Thomas Hearns. Again, it could have went either way, but the early rounds I gave to Sugar Ray, so I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to this one to Thomas Hearns, so 10-9. But Sugar Ray Leonard still in front, 76-75, and see there the gap is closing. And the knockdown obviously helps because it gets him a little bit closer. But after round 8, I've got 5 rounds to 3 for Leonard with the extra point for Hearns, making it a 1-point fight going into round number 9. Here we go. The second third of the fight, or the third of the fight, if I can mean, third quarters of the fight. I'll split that out eventually. All right, round number 8. It's Leonard who this time takes center ring and starts fast. Hearns regains composure and works his way back into the round, but he is looking fatigued and on unsteady legs. You can see at this stage the tank is emptying for Tommy, but look, the heart that he's got, he's still continuing to snap out the jab. He's still trying to push Sugar Ray Leonard back, but now Leonard is coming forward. Another close round to Leonard, and he does land a big left hook here. You'll see in the last 30 seconds that has Hearns hanging on again. You can see there Hearns doing his best to go with Leonard, and here it is there, that out of the break, throwing that left hook. He has Hearns in all sorts of trouble there, and he pours it on now. I must admit, I thought this was going to be the end for Tommy. I thought, and he had looked very, very shaky in his fights leading up to this fight as well. If you remember his fight with Kinchin as well, he'd been knocked out by Barkley. But Leonard, again, a great finisher. I was really surprised that he didn't finish this off. Now, this could have almost been a 10-8 round for Sugar Ray Leonard. Again, he had the early one, of course, but I've scored it to him just 10-9 because I just thought even though he won the round definitively and had Hearns in all sorts of trouble, I just don't think it was enough to push it over the edge for a 10-8 round. Now, it's hard to give him a 10-8 round when Hearns actually, did very well in that third round with those big right hands to put Leonard down. So I think the fact that Hearns just simply had Leonard had Hearns hurt, I've given him only a 10-8 round. Even though I'm pretty sure one of the judges might have given one of these rounds to Leonard 10-8, which ended up deciding the fight. So there it is there, 10-9 for Leonard, 86-84 going into round number 10. And I must admit, even looking at the replay, I thought, geez, Leonard's in front. And Leonard Hearns is looking to be really fatiguing and really struggling at this stage. And I'm just thinking, I can't remember how Hearns ended up sort of getting back into this, but you're about to see why he did. Let's get into round number 10. All right, this time it's Leonard looking a little bit fatigued as Hearns gets back on the jab. Leonard sort of coming at him, you can see there, but Hearns having really good success with that jab. Leonard, he's again that left hook off the exchange, and he landed it countless times in this fight. Stiff jabs continue to back Leonard up, and I just thought he was struggling to get back and find his range. You can see there he's trying to jab with Hearns, which is probably not a wise idea. Look, I've just got here, not a lot of action for this round, as both look to probably reset because they've got the championship rounds coming up for rounds 11 and 12. But I just thought, even though it was a really close round, you see there both guys having success with different punches. I just thought that Hearns just threw, you can see throwing there. Look, not a lot of punches landed by either one, but when it comes to this, I think you've just got to go by probably gut feel. And I just thought Hearns did, and I don't like to score rounds even, by the way. I think I've said that in the past. So even though I thought it was a very, very close round, it could have went either way. My gut feel said that Hearns had done enough to win the round. So after round number 10, again, we're within 1 point. I've got Leonard in front, 95-94. So it's at 6 rounds to 4 in favour of Leonard, with the knockdown bringing Hearns closer. So 95-94 for Sugar Ray Leonard, even though Thomas Hearns is closing the gap and he's hanging in there. He's fatigued. You can see his legs are wobbly. But Leonard just hasn't got it in him at this stage of his career to put him away. And Hearns showing that ticker by winning that round, when probably by rights, I would have thought it might have been a repeat of the first fight where Leonard might have him out of there. But that's why these guys are all-time great. So now we go into the championship rounds, round 11 and round number 12. Here we go. Now, see there, Leonard looking to start fast. He comes out really quick. But Hearns holds him at bay with the jab. And I've got here, after an even start, Hearns lands a series of big right hands. Now you're about to see it here. Not much has happened here. And then Hearns starts to let the right hand go. He lands that one. I think he lands another one here. There's 2. Lets him go. And there's 3. And down he goes. And surprising it took three big right hands to put him down. But at this stage of the fight, of course, he probably hasn't got the pep in him that he had early in the fight. Leonard takes the count on one knee, regroups, and you can see there Hearns looking to finish it, but really struggling at this stage of the fight to put the punches together. Fatigue prevents him, finishing Leonard off, who was primed to go, I think. And look, I think Leonard slowly made his way back into the round here, but I think again, like it was in the third round, he knew that he wasn't going to win the round. It was going to be a 10-8 round for Hearns, pretty much no matter what happened, even though he does land some good shots here. But I think in his mind, he would have thought it's a close fight. I've got to save myself for the 12th round. I've got to remember, guys, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And you've also got to be smart. It's not checkers, as I say, it's chess. And I got no doubt that Leonard would have thought that, geez, well, the round's gone. I'm not going to win it from here. So I may as well just, there's a picture of Hearns there. So I'm not going to win the round, so I'm just going to hang in there and just wait for to bring it home in the 12th round, which he ends up doing. But as you can see there, I've given a 10-8 round to Hearns, which means he's now the official on my card anyway, unofficial leader in this fight. 104-103. So 6 rounds to 5 still for Leonard. But with the 2 10-8 rounds, I've got Thomas Hearns now in front in this fight going into the last round. So 104-103. So let's get into the last round of this fight, round number 12. And I think, look, there's no other way to say this. You can see there the guys touching gloves. There's no other way to describe this round except it's a massive round for Sugar Ray Leonard. I thought Hearns got the better of the round until a big left hook again from Sugar Ray Leonard had Hearns in trouble, looking exhausted. And this does happen sometimes. See the big left hook there. This does happen in sometimes in these fights. The last round, it's like, what am I going to do? Some of these fighters are exhausted. They're trying to hang on. One fighter gets a run on, and it's just a matter of can he finish him in the space of the 3 minutes. So you can see there, Hearns on wobbly legs. He looks exhausted. Leonard, I've got no doubt, would have been exhausted too, but he's pouring it on. And you can see again, Leonard refuses to be clinched or held. He frees his arms up. He keeps punching, even though Hearns, who's not the best clincher, as I said earlier, just does not know how to tie Leonard up, and he just keeps going for it. So, and even on the breakdown, surprised he didn't get pulled up for that one there. So I've got here, Leonard continues to throw big combinations. Hearns does his best to go with him, but just can't. And just a very, very big round for Leonard. I didn't give it 10-8 to Leonard, even though I was very, very tempted. And you can see there, I have it at the end of the fight, 113, 113. It is a draw. So I had it 7 rounds to 5 in the end for Sugar Ray Leonard. So, and then with the 2 knockdowns, brings it back to 113, 113. Now, as I said earlier, in that round there, and maybe one of the earlier rounds as well, if you had scored at 10-8 to Leonard, that would have tipped the fight in his favour. But I think it was very, very close, but I just couldn't bring myself to make it a 10-8 round, and I had it 113, 113. So the official scorecards of the judges: Jerry Roth had it 113, 112 for Thomas Hearns. So that would have actually, I'm not sure, so that would have been 8 rounds. So he would have given Leonard a 10-8 round, I would have thought by that. And he would have given Hearns 2 10-8 rounds. But he's got Hearns in front, 113 to 112. Tommy Kazmarek had it 113, 112 Leonard. So obviously he's given Leonard a 10-8 round as well. Maybe 2 10-8 rounds, I reckon he's given him there, or has he? But either way, 113, 112 for Leonard. And then Dolby Shirley had it 112, 112. So she is definitely given Leonard 2 10-8 rounds. So she's had it even at 6 rounds each. And then she's given Leonard 2 10-8 rounds and Hearns 2 10-8 rounds. And at the end, it's been a draw. So 113, 112 for Hearns was Jerry Roth. 113, 112 for Leonard was Tommy Kazmarek. And 112, 112 from Dolby Shirley. Now, on BoxRec, and if you haven't seen this before, you can go on there and score the fight. And it gives a bit of a fan's consensus of who they thought won. The fans' judgment on this fight was 115, 111 for Thomas Hearns. So that is giving him 9 rounds to 3, if you will. Plus, I take that back. 7 rounds to 5, 7 rounds to 5 for Hearns, I would have given it. And then 2 rounds with the 10-8 rounds, which made it a 4-point fight for Thomas Hearns. Now, I mentioned Harold Letterman a few times during this. He was an ex-judge. He was a HBO judge at ringside. Now, I looked at his scorecards. I think I said earlier after 5 rounds, I think he might have had Hearns out by 4 or 5 points. I think it might have been. I actually had Leonard in front by 2. Every round after round 5, we had identical, but for some reason we just didn't agree on the first 5 rounds. I had it 4 rounds to 1, and I think he had it 4 rounds to 1 for Hearns, plus the 10-8 round or whatever it might have been, 5, whatever it was. But anyway, so that's how it can happen here, guys. Like, it's amazing how different people see it. Now, just a one stat in the fight: Leonard threw 642 punches to 560 now, which surprised me because I actually thought Hearns was the more busier fighter. But Leonard threw 642, landed 232 punches. Hearns landed 221. So Leonard landed 11 more punches, but you can't really factor that in because who knows, Leonard might have won a round by 20 punches and all the rest of them Hearns, outscored him. You just don't know. But either way, That's the official score. I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say out there, whether you had it a draw. As I said, the official result was a draw. I had it a draw. How did you have it? Let me know in the comments. I'm sure there's going to be a few either way. Make sure you look at our Instagram poll as well if it's still available when you watch this video. But I'm really keen to hear what you guys have to say. There it is, Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns, number 2, The War. I had a draw. Now, on next week's episode, I'm going to actually do a very contentious fight in the career of Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to score his fight with Jose Luis Castillo. If you remember that fight, it was a win for Floyd Mayweather, but very, very contentious and disputed by a lot of fans out there. So Floyd Mayweather, Jose Luis Castillo, number 1, the first fight. We'll do that in the next edition. So look, really appreciate you, tuning into this episode. Keep tuned in for more coming up. And again, if you've got some comments or whatever it might be, some constructive criticism, put it in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again.